Hello, I'm Pam Carruthers of HealingStars.com. This is the chart, the new moon, 27th of April 2025. It's set for London, and I use whole signs to represent the houses. And the most significant, very important connection of two planets is Mars. Here's Mars in Leo, and it's opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And just over the weekend, recently, there's been huge power outtakes in Spain and Portugal. Mars and Pluto represent a big fight. They represent unconscious energies, because that's what Pluto is. It's the god of the underworld, and power struggles, all about control. So if you've been caught recently in any upset, then you can blame Mars and Pluto. This did happen last year, but this is the last time. So Mars will be moving away fairly rapidly now, and Mars likes the sign of Leo. You know, it is about being wholehearted, about shining, about leading. It's very much to do with leadership. Now, of course, a new moon, here it is, the sun and moon are in Taurus. Here they are, 7 degrees, 46 minutes. And Taurus is this time of year where, you know, it's springtime in the Northern Hemisphere. I happen to know now I've got some bluebells blooming in the little front garden that I have here. And it's all to do with Venus. Venus is the goddess. Venus is here in the sky, still in Pisces. So Venus is just about moved away. It's still very close to Saturn, and it's moving towards Neptune. And it's also there with the North Node. So Venus moved into Pisces on the 27th of March, and it will leave on the 30th of April and go into Aries, a fire sign. Venus is exalted in Pisces. It gives of its absolute best. It is the divine. The goddess as the divine, full of grace. And on my website, I've excerpted a really wonderful little item that came to my attention last night. It's Caroline Myss and her book, Intimate Conversations with the Divine. And it's all about bringing in grace before you go to sleep, to connect with the light. I hope you find it useful. I certainly have done. So Pisces, as I said, it's the invisible Pisces. It is the high vibration of Venus. It's oneness, what we call oneness, recognizing that we are all one. A Course in Miracles states there is only love or fear. So notice if you're being caught in fear right now. It is the work of the ego. And the higher mind wants us to connect with grace. Now, at the moment we have Mercury in Aries, we have Neptune now in Aries, and Venus, of course, will join Neptune in Aries. Aries is the first fire sign of the zodiac, and I liken it to a spark. You know, the spark that sets off the flame or the fire. And the other fire signs, of course, are Leo and Sagittarius. So if you are Leo or Sagittarius or Aries, you have this extraordinary energy moving through your chart for the first time in your whole life. It's quite a remarkable transit that will affect us in the world, but also might affect you personally. There's nothing to worry about at all. Neptune moves very, very slowly, and it basically can bring up a deep healing. Notice the elements of this chart. There's a strong element down here in fire. Good, strong earth energy. Air, a little weak, but water, emotions, also very strong. And the modes, what we call the modes, very fixed. The fixed signs bring stability. So that's worth looking at and recognizing here. The best day to launch is the best day of the entire year is this Wednesday. In Vedic astrology, the sun is exalted right now. The sun is actually in Aries. It's the actual constellation the sun is moving through. And on Wednesday, the moon will be exalted in a lunar mansion called Rohini, the favourite wife of the sun god. And Rohini, the moon god, Rohini is in Taurus. So it's a really positive day if you want to launch anything, because you've got the blessing of the gods. The other thing I would like to mention to you is affirmations. They are incredibly important to make at a new moon. A new moon is not a good time to launch anything because the moon's invisible. People often think that's true. It's not. You always wait for the crescent moon you can see. And to journal. Now, I keep a journal of sorts, and I reckon I'm pretty good at manifesting. And lo and behold, I looked at one, 2020 it was, and where I was living at the time, I had to move. I was given notice to move. It didn't come about then. However, in that journal, in 2020, I had written down the name of the very road that I'm now living in Eastbourne. I could not believe it when I saw that. I didn't see this flat. It was a maisonette, which wouldn't have suited me. But of all the places Eastbourne is a big, big town, if you know Eastbourne, if you live in UK. And I just couldn't believe it. So realizing how important it is for manifesting to write things down, handwritten. And that's why a new moon is good to do that. And to make decisions. Now that's also very relevant because Venus is with Saturn. Now that is very much about commitment to what you know is real in your life, to make plans, to make decisions, a key word, rather than wishes, which, we wish, but if we make a decision, and I did that last night, I'm being anecdotal here, I'm not very good at throwing. I've never been any good at throwing. But last night I decided that I would make a decision to throw a group of tissues into a bin, and it went straight in. I could not believe it. I've been trying this for a long time. Hasn't worked. But that aspect of the mind, focusing the mind. Mercury is the magician in the tarot. The magician has those tools. He's the master of the elements. And although Mercury in this new moon chart isn't doing very much, it's moving away from a trine to Mars. It's got an awkward relationship to Uranus. However, it's still the messenger. And Aries, a fire sign, what is it we want to start right now? What's that spark, that imagination that's in your mind? And write it down, please. A journal is a really good way of keeping track of what it is you want to appear in your life, what you want to manifest. And for those of you who are still listening, I'm giving a workshop in London for the first time in many, many years at my favourite venue in Hammersmith. It's a very quiet venue, beautiful place, and it's all about manifesting your life and manifesting your vision and working through the blocks, because that's always what undermines us, unconscious blocks. And I'm an expert in the unconscious. So thank you for watching. Carruthers of healingstars.com.